This would be a good time to ingest some extra caffeine. Late night adventures on the gridiron, and we all know anything can happen when you kick off after dark. Welcome to Arthur L. Williams Stadium in Lynchburg, Virginia, home to the Liberty Flames. As we'll see a squad from Conference USA, the Missouri State Bears, taking on a team that ranks in the top 5 in this conference, the Liberty Flames. 48 Sports College Football, Reese Davis with you alongside David Pollack and Jesse Palmer. Time to get this game started. And the Bears will kick it away to start us off. Let's see if he can make a play on the return. Really disciplined job by the coverage unit to get down there and make the stop at the 19. Man down on the play as the officials take a break to let him be checked out. So Liberty's offense will go on the attack first. From the gun, the ground game. And the defense holds firm. No pickup at all on that play. Didn't get much on first down. It's 2nd and 9. To the air, it's Basco. Fires it beautifully in on the crosser. He moves the chains, and they'll mark the ball at the 33. Pulls and throws out the RPO. They make the stop, trying to pick up just a little bit at a time to get to that first down marker. The Flames can really attack on this 2nd and short. Pulls and fires it complete to the right. And maybe he'll get back to the line of scrimmage, but no more than that. Wants to throw again. Grab near the marker. It's Mobley. And they reacted well to the completion, but it was too late to keep them from getting the first down. Off the play fake on first down to throw. Incomplete thanks to the great defensive pressure there that sort of threw them out of rhythm. Behind the chains now on 2nd and long. Wide receiver going in motion. Couldn't connect on first down, now back to the air. Only a couple there, and now staring at 3rd and 8. Trying to pick up a first down. On 3rd and long, he has to throw for it. And the defense picks up a sack, getting the quarterback down at the 44.
Man, you can't draw it up any better than that. First possession, force a 3rd down. You want to shut the home crowd up, sack the quarterback, create some momentum. Now you're getting the football back to your offense, probably with great field position.
And the Flames will punt this one away. They'll have to boot it away for the first time tonight. Signal goes into the air, and he makes the fair catch at the 10. So Missouri State's offense taking the field. First chance we have to see them today. Last week was a tape they'd rather just put right in the dumpster and forget about it. David, how does a guy bounce back from a game like the one he had last week?
Well, hopefully he burned that tape, because that was not pretty. That was not what they're wanting to do, man. Just turning the football over, not enough productive plays. And so how do you bounce back? How do you get started in this football game? Jesse, make it easy. Get him in a rhythm. Don't make it very complicated. Don't give him a chance to turn it over again. You don't need to put this losing streak to another digit in the column.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's 2 big things. I think one, he was just pressing. He was trying to force the big play to happen when there were other completions to be had. So he's just got to do a better job being patient. And I think the guys around him also have to step up as well. They need to run the football. They need to get that controlled passing game going on early to get into a rhythm, as you said, to help this guy get into a good headspace here early and turn the page from what happened the last time out.
And they'll spot it at the 45. That's good enough for a first down. Looking for room. It's Joyner. And he never had a chance. Just stopped cold as soon as he got it. Looks as if we have an injury on that last play, and we'll take a break to check him out. The Bears with a long way to go after the loss on the last play. Clark to fire. Got a man. It's Clinton. Nice gain on that play, but a little bit short of the first down. In the gun, looking to throw on third down. Grab near the marker. It's Johnson. He's got first down yardage as they move it to the 44. And the Bears come to the line with a fresh set of downs. He'll do it himself. And a nice solid pickup there before the defense wrestles him to the ground. And on second down for this offense. Leaves it with the back. And this one will be stopped for no gain. Ball just inside the 40 at the 39. It's third and short. Looking to throw. Caught in the backfield, it's Lawrence. And he never had a chance. As soon as he caught it, the defense was right there. The Bears will send out the punt unit. First punt of the day, and he'd love to lock them up close to their goal line. Liberty takes over, and the Flames offense ready to go to work. They just didn't quite find the rhythm on that last drive, Jesse. They had to punt it.
I think they got to be more physical, David. I think up front they got to do a better job getting blocks and establishing this running game.
And how easy does football become if you're the more physical team? If you can threaten the run and then run play action, it opens up the whole offense at your disposal.
Catch in the middle, it's Henderson. Brought down at the 45 after a 15-yard pickup. The offense getting set for a first down from the 45. To the air on first down. Working that left side. Oh, what a big play for this offense as they get it to the 33-yard line. Looking to throw on first down. Hit hard as he released the ball on that first down pass, and it never had a chance. Plenty of work to do here on second and long. This quarterback part of their running game. Breaks into the open. A solid pickup on the scramble and slide, but there's a flag down. Let's see what that's about. A solid gain on that one, and it goes for naught as the penalty will back them up. Trying to seal the edge on the right. They'll give him a couple. That leaves him with 3rd and 8. Trying to pick up a first down. Looking downfield, it's Basco. And he got smacked just as he released the pass. It's incomplete. And on 4th down, they'll try to put 3 on the board. And this one is anything but routine. A 48-yard attempt from the right hash. Oh, that one will leave a mark. No good. Kicker tried to tack a few more on the scoreboard, guys, and couldn't do it. Man down on the play as the officials take a break to let him be checked out. So here comes the Missouri State offense. I can't think of anything that frustrates an offensive coordinator more than holding the ball a long time and having no pressure all over the quarterback, and down he goes at the 24.
And the defense gets a sack, and that's going to be the big determining factor in this football game. A week ago, he only got sacked 1 time. They've already got him on the ground. If they want to win this football game, they got to keep getting after the quarterback.
And the Bears now with a long way to go to pick up the first down. Now the play fake. Under fire. And this defense has maxed out this pressure. Another sack.
And when you get this far behind the chains and it's a guaranteed passing situation, defensive linemen go to work. That's what we do. We want to get sacks. We want to rush the quarterback, especially in known situations like this. That's why the quarterback tasted that dirt.
Now a lot of work to do to move the chains, keep this drive alive after that earlier sack. They'll leave it with him. Nice move to keep running. He got it out to the 34-yard line. Not enough for the first down. Let's see if they punt it away. The Bears send out the punt unit. This will be the second time they've had to kick it away. Here's the fair catch, and he'll make it close to the 20-yard line. First play of the drive comes from the 22. On the ground, it's Gray. They'll knock him down for a loss of a couple. The Flames trying to find their way forward after the big loss on the last play. They'll try the outside to the left. Finding open areas. There he goes. And finally out of bounds after an explosive run by this ball carrier.
Every time he touches the ball, you can feel the excitement from this home crowd because Palmer, he can go the distance with that game-breaking speed.
You're right, David. He's a special talent. I'll tell you, these fans, they come here to see this guy play because he has game-breaking speed. Stuff you can't coach. You saw it on that play.
And the Flames just got that huge run. They love another explosive play. They'll move the wide receiver. Coming out on first down with the play fake. Intercepted. Big play stops the drive.
Zone equals eyes. When I say that, DBs, linebackers, all covering the middle of the field. So many guys over the middle of the field trying to take away the easy stuff, but reading the quarterback's eyes the whole time. Whenever he breaks to throw that football and that hand separates from the ball, I'm breaking on it, and you could tell they had a beat on it. Nice cut, nice instincts. Give me that INT.
First snap of this drive comes from the 32. One running back in the backfield, and he has it. Stop behind the line, he'll lose a yard. Didn't get much done on that first play of the drive. It's 2nd and 11. Pulls it on the bootleg fake. He's got the tight end. And they pick up the first down in what might be the last play here in the first quarter. Defense has dominated the early part of this game, and the stats point that out emphatically. Sometimes you see the offenses sort of settle in, find areas to probe after that first quarter. So they'll go back to work after changing ends of the field. Off the play fake on first down, wants to throw. Finds the tight end. And just a short, safe pass play, they pick up a few. Plenty of distance between them and the sticks here on 2nd down. Motion from the wide receiver. Quick touch pass to the receiver. How about this sophomore stopping him short of the first down line? Here on 3rd down for this offense. Wants to throw again. Pocket breaking down. Just can't pull the trigger, and the quarterback is sacked at the 41.
And they've been waiting for something good to happen with respect to getting after the quarterback, right? They're outside of the top 100 in the country in sacks per game, but finally now you see they're generating this pass rush. 3 sacks on the game so far.
And the Bears will line up to punt it away. They'll look to pin them deep. Nice job to make the fair catch at the 16. Make sure that ball didn't bounce into the coffin corner. Liberty takes over the Flames, sending the offense back onto the field. Boy, they had that last drive moving a little bit, David, but then the mistake just crushed them.
Yeah, and those mistakes are going to happen. You're going to throw the football, you're going to throw interceptions. But I think I stay aggressive with this offense. I get back to what I did in the first part of that drive, what made me successful.
I agree, David. Just turn the page if you're a quarterback, right? On this drive, you did a lot of good things there leading up to that pick. Forget about it, move on, play the next play.
Couldn't find his man last time, and that leaves him with a 3rd and 6. Looking for a man. It's Vasco. He's going to take off. Gets it out to the 27-yard line, and they'll move the chains for a first down. The Flames come to the line with a new set of downs. Rides the back and leaves it on the option. He is going nowhere. Stop at the line of scrimmage. They'll He'll go to work in the air on second down. And that's going to fall to the ground incomplete. That was a physical matchup there. Third down coming. Sends it back in motion. On third and long, try to convert through the air. Grabbed in the middle, it's Henderson. Doesn't quite make it to the first down marker. He's a yard short. And the Flames will call on their punt team. This will be the second time they've had to kick it away. Fair catch is made inside his own 20 at the 17-yard line. Okay, guys, the Bears offense comes onto the field. They've gotten very little done on their first 3 possessions, hoping this one will be more productive. Snagged in the middle, it's Joyner. Didn't pick up a lot there, moved it forward just a few. Here comes the offense on second down. Give to the running back. Oh, he's got some space. Nice pickup on the ground there, and they'll move the sticks with the first down.
And busting big runs like this, we always talk about the running backs, but it's the big boys up front, paving their lanes, those receivers gluing on those DBs that make these plays really go for big yardage.
And how about those receivers? Not just the glamour of catching passes, but doing some dirty work, too.
No doubt. When they get on those guys in the second level and get on those DBs, that's when you break those big, long runs.
Throws to the wideout. Finds a man on the left. Crosses the 35. Out of bounds there. Nice pickup on the play. Spotted at the 32.
First down for the offense.
Caught over the middle. It's Robinson. He's brought down, but there's a flag on the field. Let's see which way that's going to go.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer. Defense.
I know defenders hate quarterbacks and love nothing more than hitting them, but you're hitting yourself in the gut when you get a 15-yard penalty. Gets it out quickly. And he motors into the end zone. Touchdown, Bears!
And I think that pass play was simply designed just to get him the football in space and let him do the rest. Obviously, they're not throwing that into the end zone, but they feel like they've got guys, especially at the running back position, that if you just give them an opportunity, they can make people miss and score like he did right there.
Setting up for the extra point after the first score of the game. And he's got the extra point, and it's 7-0 to start this one. And for a quick update, let's go to Kevin Connors in the studio.
Right, guys, got a final score on one of the more intriguing games this week. Duke came in and applied their own mute button on this crowd. They silenced one of the most vocal home field advantages in football. And it's clear this Blue Devils team has adopted the mantra, let your play do the talking. Regardless the outcome today, guys, these are still 2 quality programs. Proof the sport is as healthy as ever.
Yeah, how about that? Sounds as if they had a good ball game there. Kevin, thanks for the update. Back to pass, it's Vasco. Finds his man, it's Smith. And he's brought down after a nice gain. It's 1st and 10 from the 38-yard line. Looking to throw on first down. Just too much heat that time, and they knock him down at the 31.
Well, the offense trying to stay aggressive, right? You just came up with a huge play, and right away you go back to another pass, but you got to do a better job protecting your quarterback. Can't give up a sack there.
The Flames have put themselves in dire straits after that last play. It's 2nd and a mile. Back to pass. Grabbed over the middle. It's Henderson. And he'll be brought down. And the Flames come to the line on 3rd and short, trying to keep the drive alive. On 3rd and short, they'll go to the power running game. Now with a great opportunity as they pick up the first down. They've got it at the 40. They moved the chains on the ground last time. Let's see if they try to hit him up top. To the ground. He's got it again. Able to scrounge 3 yards out of that one somehow. It's 2nd and 7. They're about to run a dirty half-dozen plays on this drive. Second down, they'll go to the air. Got it in the middle, it's Mobley. And he's brought down after a nice gain. Down to 2 minutes to play, we'll take the timeout. They'll talk it over, a chance to tie or even take the lead before the break. Give to the single back. This freshman makes the stop after a short gain. Looks as if we have an injury on that last play, and we'll take a break to check him out. After the 3-yard pickup, they come to the line, 2nd and 7. Looking to pass. It's Vasco. He wants it all. Oh, man, almost picked off in the end zone. What a red zone stop that would have been. It's 3rd down. Motion from the wideout. On 3rd down, he drops the throw. And that's incomplete. A defender all over him. Knocked the ball to the ground. 4th down coming up. And they'll send the field goal team back out for the 2nd time tonight. He splits the upright. That'll bring him to within 4.
And that's not the way they wanted to end the drive, but nice job being ready and your field goal kicker coming through and putting 3 points on the board.
After putting up the field goal, they're set to kick it away. And he'll return it and try to get behind his blockers. And he is brought down, but there is a penalty marker on the field.
Illegal block event. Return team.
The officials offer the deal, and the coach accepts it. They will take the penalty. Wants to throw on 1st down. Caught close to the marker. It's Joyner. How about that effort to get it out across the 20? They'll mark it at the 21. It's a 1st down. Man down on the play as the officials take a break to let him be checked out. Ball spotted at the 21. It's 1st down. Looking downfield on 1st down. Catch in the middle. It's Johnson. And a good job in coverage there as they stop it after just a few. Working well behind the sticks on 2nd down. Makes the grab. It's Lawrence. Works his way to the 41, and that is plenty to give him a 1st down. The Bears come to the line with a fresh set of downs. Clark wants to throw. Got his man quickly. And the defense had that one well covered. Just a short gain there. What will they dial up on 2nd and a long way to go? The offense calls a timeout to stop the clock. Try to make up for some of that lost ground on 2nd down. Wide receiver comes in motion. Looking to throw again. Unloads it left. Makes the grab. Big pickup on that one. They'll mark him out at the 40.
Man, this defense, they have got to get better in coverage if they want to get off the field anytime soon. You keep defending like that, this offense might hang 50 on you by the end of the game.
Off the play fake on 1st down to throw. Just not quite able to make the connection. It's incomplete. So now it's 2nd and long. They'll throw again after the incompletion. Zings it complete to the right. He's brought down quickly. Minimal gain there. Still a bit short of the 1st down. From the 36, a 3rd down, and you wonder if they're willing to take 2 plays to get the 1st.
And I love the aggressiveness by the defense. 3rd down and short, I'm going to play with my DBs up. Play aggressive. Try to take away those RPOs, those quick throws, those easy routes. Did a really good job and made the tackle, forcing the 4th down.
What a disappointment. No good. After the miss, the lead is still 4. They'll start this drive from their own 35-yard line. Wants to go up top on 1st down. Got it in the middle. It's Henderson. That's about as close as you can get to that marker, and it will be 2nd and just a few breaths away from the 1st down. near the sticks. It's Smith. We got a timeout here late in the first half, and they'll try to get more points on the board before the break. Rides to back and leaves it. Past the first down marker and still running. He'll go out of bounds right at the 30-yard line. A big play as this offense in business. Back to throw, it's Vasco. Quickly out to the tight end. This is a great way to control tempo, control the game, feeding the tight end, and they've done it beautifully here in the first half.
You find great matchups, Reese. I mean, you think about it. He's too good to be covered by linebackers. You like your matchup versus a safety, so zone or man, whatever you want to do, I'm going to find the big fella because he's going to be open most of the time.
Every second is meaningful, and they save a few of them with the spike. And here on second down, they'll send out the field goal unit to try to get 3 before the break. Never a doubt. That brings them to within 1. So they get the late field goal right before the half, and not much time after this kickoff for an answer. He'll bring it back from inside his 5. He'll be brought down, and that's the final play of the half. First half in the books. Time now to join Kevin Connors in our halftime update.
Thanks, guys. A memorable first half of football so far today in Lynchburg. And yes, football is a game of inches, but man, is that really the case when you consider the length of some of these possessions. Look, I'm not an analytics guy, but I do know this. The team that sustains drives and just moves the sticks might be the team that comes out on top today. And with that, let's send it back to the fellas at the Bill Arthur L. Williams Stadium.
Will line up to kick off and start the second half. On the run from inside his own 5. Not a lot of space to be found. Good hustle by the coverage team, and they stop him at the 21. So here comes the Bear offense. They got plenty done through the air in the first half, and we'll see if they even need to look for balance as we start the third quarter.
Well, and I think defensively, you understand, like the running game isn't a big part of the plan. I wonder how they adjust and play more coverage to this pass-happy offense.
Yeah, so you're going to have to be ready if you're a quarterback then. You're probably going to see some different coverages. You might see a little bit more blitz in the second half as well, so you have to know where your answers are.
And the defense drags him down. And the Bears are at the line looking to convert on 3rd and short. Grab near the sticks. It's Clinton. And he's got enough for the first down. They'll mark it at the 34. Leaves it with the running back. And you want to talk about gang tackling. Everybody on the defense run to the ball. Looks as if we have an injury on that last play, and we'll take a break to check him out. Got 3 on first down. It's 2nd and 7. Clark to fire. A little too much on that one, just out of his reach. They couldn't make the connection on second down. Now a 3rd and 7 to keep the drive alive. Fires to the wideout. All kinds of room to throw that one in there. Just gashing this defense. A big gainer to the 40-yard line. They'll run it out of the shotgun. Man down on the play as the officials take a break to let him be checked out. Solid pickup of 4 on first down. It's 2nd and 6. They'll run play action. Makes the catch. It's Robinson. Brought down at the 26-yard line after a pickup of 10 yards on the play, and it'll be a first down. On the run, it's Lawrence. And he'll be tackled, but there is a flag on the field.
Hold offense.
We'll repeat the previous down, but this time the offense has 10 more yards it has to cover. From the gun, looking for a man. The short hands, it's Lawrence. They stop him almost immediately. Short gain there, and still a little ground to cover to pick up the first.
Brings up second down.
Second down, they'll go to the air. Catch in the middle, it's Lawrence. And a good job of coverage by that defense, just a short pickup. They run into a bit of trouble here, 3rd and long from the 25, and the last thing they want is to get knocked out of field goal range. He'll pull it down and run. Turning it on. Great job by this savvy senior to know when he just needs to move the sticks with his feet.
Good enough for a first down.
One back in the backfield, he gets the carry. He rumbles and rolls all the way to the 4-yard line before he steps out of bounds. The Bears are threatening on 1st and goal. They'll try to get it in with the run. He works his way all the way down to the 3, and the defense is reeling. Heftiness coming out on the goal line. Power ahead. Into the end zone he goes. Touchdown, Missouri State! You know what? Methuselah lived 969 years. He was born and died in the amount of time it took them to walk it down the field and score that touchdown.
And that's just so frustrating. Play after play after play. You line up, you try to do your assignment, and you fail, and they cap it off with a touchdown? Oh, Methuselah.
And they kick it through for the extra point, and they have an 8-point lead. We check in with Kevin Connors. What's going on, Kevin?
Guys, we've got a final score for a notable game today in the American. Temple sparkled today in a dominant road win. In fact, by the 4th quarter, it almost felt like this game was being played in Philly. That's how much they took that crowd out of it. Always fun to see 2 of the better programs in the American duke it out. A good barometer for both coaches, fellas.
And Kevin Connors keeping an eye on everything all over the country. Sounds like they had a good one there. Slips, slithers, and jukes his way out to the 26. And the Flames in a good spot here with 2nd and short. The give to the back. An explosive play in the running game as he's got the first down. Looks as if we have an injury on that last play, and we'll take a break to check him out. It's 1st and 10 from the 38-yard line. Power football with the run. And he is just engulfed at the line by this giant defensive tackle. To throw, it's Vasco. Pressure coming. Just too much heat that time, and they knock him down at the 31.
And if this offense wants to get back in the football game, it starts up front. Like, they've got to do a better job of protecting their quarterback. A 3rd down and long situation coming up. They'll have another opportunity. They got to keep their quarterback upright.
Now a lot of work to do to move the chains, keep this drive alive after that earlier sack. On 3rd and long, hoping to throw beyond the sticks. And it's pretty obvious there was a big hole in that screen, and the defense ran right through it. The Flames decide to punt it away. He'll try to really get into this one. Signals for the fair catch and hauls it in just shy of the 30. So here comes the Missouri State offense. Took the last drive in for a touchdown. They'll try to do it again on this one. He's going to lose a yard on that one.
And when you play defensive end, it's all about getting off the football. You can tell, gets off the football really fast, gets in the backfield, gets the running back before he knows what hit him. What a play by the defensive end.
After getting knocked back to open this drive, it's 2nd and 12. Wants to go up top. Lost one deep down the right side. He's got it inside the 15. He's brought down, but there's a flag on the play. Let's see if it stands.
Hold it.
They had the first down before that penalty backed them up, and now they'll snap it on second down. To the air on second down. He's got him. Not much running room there thanks to this senior defender. And that last completion left him short of the sticks. It's third down. Clark wants to throw. Soft spot in the middle. To the 43-yard line and a first down for this offense. And the Bears come to the line with a new set of downs. The give to the back. And he's going to be taken down, but there's a penalty flag on the field.
Holding.
That penalty moves the ball back 10 yards. We'll replay the down. A first down for the offense. They'll go to the counter. Good pickup on the ground, and they'll mark him down at the 39. They're dealing with a second and long. From the gun, the running back tries to hit the hole. Not a whole lot of progress made there on the short run. They'll come to the line at the 42, facing a third and long. From the gun, wants to pass. Unloads to the wideout. And the pass is incomplete here on third down, but there is a flag. Let's check it out.
Holding.
They'll decline that penalty, obviously very happy with the results of the play. The Bears will punt it away on fourth down. Fourth time tonight we've seen this guy come on to punt. He'll make the fair catch at the 13, and they will have less than favorable field position here. To the air on first down. And that defense gets to him, and down he goes at the 9.
Strong safety blitzes can sometimes be hard to see coming from a quarterback standpoint because we're used to seeing the strong safeties insert themselves into the box, but you don't oftentimes see them blitz like that. That can be tricky to watch.
And the Flames with a long way to go after the loss on the last play. He'll pull it on the read. Looks as if he'll get it up to about the 14-yard line. This defense has kept them backed up. Now one more stop, and they can get off the field on third and long. He's going to let one fly down the middle. Oh, he dropped it. That deep ball was right on the money. You just have to make that catch. The Flames line up to punt it away. He's getting a lot of work. Fourth time he's punted tonight. Hauls it in, looking for space. He was hoping for a little more running room, but they're able to get him down at the 45. Wants to throw on first down off the play fake. And just left that pass short. Not enough juice on that one. Backed up now. Here's second and long. Clark to fire. He's got him this time. He snagged it, but he'll be stopped short of the first down. Good, solid pickup on that play. Looking to move the chains. They throw it complete to the left. They'll move the chains. Good execution on third down. They've got it at the 41. Looking for a physical attack from the gun. Man down on the play as the officials take a break to let him be checked out. Picked up 2 yards on that last one. They need 8 on second down. Off play action. Lets it fly deep downfield. And it's an incomplete pass on the deep shot, but the flag is down. Let's check the call.
Holding.
Amazing how many times an offensive holding penalty will stall a drive. We'll see if the offense can overcome it. Going to sling it on second down. And the heat gets home. They knock him down back at the 45. And you want to talk about his favorite receiver, it might be everybody based on the number of guys getting touches and a chance to show off their hands in the passing game. Not only is the scoreboard on their side, but so too is time as we open the fourth. With the break, they had a little extra time to dial something up for this third down play. Clark wants to throw. Trying to set up the screen. Almost popped free on the screen, but he'll be stopped short of the line to gain. It's fourth down. And the Bears will try to pin them back with the punt. This will be the 5th kick of the night. That one's going to go out of bounds, and it'll be dead at the 35-yard line. Liberty takes over, and the Flames offense ready to go to work. A rather unproductive series last time, 3 and out, and they'll try to do better this time around. Caught, and he's close to a first down on the nice pickup there. And the Flames can play this second down a lot of ways with just a few yards to go. Looking to fire. Here comes the heat. Under pressure, and down he goes at the 33.
This has been a rough night for this offensive line. Man, they have not protected their quarterback. Everything starts with the big guys up front. That's their 5th sack given up of the game.
The defense all revved up after that earlier sack, and they'll try to stop him right here. 3rd and long, and he'll try to throw for it. Finds his tight end. He gets it up to the 37-yard line, and let's see if they're willing to gamble on 4th down. Yet another punt on the way. Got to make sure that hamstring stays loose. He's been busy. So here comes the Missouri State offense. They missed an opportunity to extend this lead the last time they had it, Jesse.
Yeah, they got to be able to regain that momentum, right? Go back to what was working earlier on in this one. And, David, to me, that starts with being the more physical team.
Oh, I definitely agree. Being the more physical team, but understanding the situation of the game. You're still winning. You got the football back. Now put a nice drive together and execute.
This offense is not letting up, guys. They've got a lead here late, and they are still taking shots. They're still looking for explosive plays. This defense just has not had an answer here all game long.
They'll try to power their way ahead. Now they'll really try to get this drive going. Good execution on 3rd down as they have it 1st and 10 at the 31. Clark to fire. It's complete to the left. And good coverage by the defense, just a short gain. Behind the chains now on 2nd and long. This time they'll go to the running game. That is a big win for this defense as they were right there as soon as he got the ball. Trying play action. Rushes on him. Trying to escape and get it himself. He's not going to get there, and this defense really needed a stop like that. Looks as if we have an injury on that last play, and we'll take a break to check him out. The Bears will bring the punt team onto the field. We've seen a lot of the punt team 6th time tonight. That's a perfect example of not settling for a fair catch. Pick up whatever yardage you can and help out the offense. Looking to throw on 1st down. Makes the grab. Breaks into the open. Put it right on him. Sweet play. Good pickup, and they'll move the chains with the 1st down. From the gun, the running back has it.
Yeah, and listen, offensively, you run the RPOs. You just want positive yards, make the right read. Read the guy. If he wants to drop back a little bit, hand it off, get some positive yards, go on to the next play.
Right back to him on the ground. How about this sophomore stopping him short of the 1st down line? Now facing a 3rd and long. They want to throw it. Finds his man. It's Mobley. He's going to come up about 5 yards short of the line to gain. The Flames will punt this one away. They'll be forced to kick for the 6th time tonight. And they'll keep it away from the return man as the punt goes out of bounds. Okay, guys, the Bears offense comes onto the field. Their drive chart is starting to look a little monotonous. Punt, 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 David.
And their defense is starting to get a little frustrated, too. They just keep putting me back on the field, possession after possession. Jesse, this offense needs to get their heads out of their you-know-whats.
The punter's on the sideline with the oxygen mask right now. He's been playing so much. He's not used to this. This offense, they just got to stay on the field. They've got to put a drive together and get some balance going, running and throwing the ball.
Time is on their side, and they're going to wind that play clock all the way down. The give, and tick, 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 tick. And he was fortunate not to lose yardage on that play, able to wedge it back to the line of scrimmage. Clark wants to throw. Grabbed in the middle. It's Clinton. He'll be stopped about 2 yards short of a first down. Timeout called there by the defense, desperate to get the ball back and save as much time as possible. They boot it away on fourth down. Waves the arm for the fair catch, and the catch is made close to the 30-yard line. Let's see how aggressive this defensive coordinator is with the lead in just a few minutes left. And the physical play there forces the incompletion on first down. Plenty of work to do here on 2nd and long. They'll try the run. He's in open space downfield. There he goes. And he's brought down, but a flag is also down. So that penalty is going to cost them the first down as they back up, and now it's 2nd down. Wide receiver going in motion. Back to pass on 2nd down. They'll run the screen. They make the stop, trying to pick up just a little bit at a time to get to that first down marker. The offense has plenty of time, and this defense trying to dig in and get one more stop and hang on to this lead. It's a one-score game late, and they've got to go for it on 4th down. He'll try to throw and pick up the first down. Big tight end makes the grab. It's a first down. They'll move the chains after he gets it to the 43-yard line. And the Flames have it with a 1st and 10. He wants to throw it again. Bought a little time, lets it go. Snagged in the middle, it's Smith. Stopped after a good pickup, and he'll be just a tad short of the first down. The give from the gun. And the defense holds firm. No pickup at all on that play. A quick completion to the left, looking for the first down. That'll get the job done and move the chains, and they'll mark the ball at the 45.
Well, look, that wasn't a touchdown, but that was a massive play for this offense. They needed some momentum. They needed to find a rhythm, and what better way than converting on 3rd down. Awesome job by the quarterback getting through his progression.
Nice job by this junior quarterback to get it done on the ground. They'll hurry to the line with the clock still running. Back to pass, it's Vasco. And it's incomplete. If you're going to take a hit like that, you might as well hang on to the ball. Plenty of distance between them and the sticks here on 2nd down. After the incompletion, they go back up top. Just a short pass to the tight end. Quick timeout call by the offense after the play, trying to preserve every minute possible.
Timeout, Liberty.
Gets the back moving. They'll throw on 3rd and short. Bring in the heat. Forced to just throw it away on 3rd down, and now they face 4th. On 4th down, they could boot the field goal, but looks as if they'll go for it. Trying to keep this drive alive. He's not going to get there. A big stop for this defense on 4th down.
Result of the play is a turnover on downs.
And the quarterback's just going to take a knee. To be honest, both of these offense played as if they were waist deep in mud. Plenty of struggles, and they come up just short in this one.
Definitely a defensive struggle here. So the good news for this team is you like what you saw on that side of the football, guys making plays, but the offense has got to be able to pick it up. You've got to be able to find ways to generate explosive plays and generate points. They couldn't do it.
And it's very frustrating for a defense when you see your offense time and time again not come through. They did their job. Offense next time just has to do a lot better.
That will put the wrap on things from here. For David Pollack and Jesse Palmer, I'm Reese Davis. You've been watching another presentation of EA Sports College Football.